Hey guys, this is Cam for 15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another My Hero Academia manga chapter review for you guys. And we are picking up where we last left off of the nice, epic, badass cliffhanger of Monoma bringing in the heroes and stuff like that. And we get some background information. We also get some background information of how All for One, for now, has been tricked by the heroes and stuff like that. So, yes. Anyways, we cut back to start the chapter off with a flashback with chapter 344 titled Stairs and our stars, my bad. Um, and, you know, the number one ongoing thing as of late is the fact that a lot of fans are saying they're rushing a lot through, Horikoshi's rushing a lot through the manga. He's really rushing. I really hope he doesn't rush this into oblivion and end it with a rush point. And I'm just over here sitting, we don't know how this story is going to end. So you people just sit back, come back every Sunday or whatever day the new chapter releases, and you just wait. We're over here crying and complaining about, guys, this dude rushing a manga chapter. Man, who cares at this point? So, anyways, we get a flashback chapter. So, people, be quiet about the rushing. Horikoshi's doing his due diligence and doing flashbacks, at least to explain some points. Anyways, this cuts back to the flashpoint of when Tsukauchi and All Might went to the dorms at UA and told them the plan before we cut away a few days later and stuff like that. Anyways, All Might's obviously telling them, like, look, we know All for One way all too well and stuff like that. Now, they're going to say the odds of this search effort locating him were always slim and stuff like that. Now, essentially, they're saying, listen, in order for us to lure out the sneakiest, craftiest villain of all time in all of history, we have to make them essentially find a way to relax and, you know, kind of just be like, okay, I have no issues going on, I can come out and stuff like that. So essentially what happens is, listen, we don't want to play into his hands, so we got to come up with a good idea, and we came up with a great idea and stuff like that. And Aizawa came up with this idea. Now Deku goes on to mention, like, whoa, is Ayama coming back and everything? And essentially Momo kind of chirps in with this whole thing by saying, Mr. Ayama said that he and his family would be killed if they lied to the enemy. Until we're positive that the enemy does not, in fact, have a way to detect lies, won't we be placing that family in danger and stuff like that? And essentially, All Might says, like, well, we have a solution. According to his parents, they only correspond with All Might, or All for One, by voice and never by text. So essentially, he calls them to make sure he hears, because he can't tell they're lying through text, I guess. He goes on to say, and he wouldn't make a move before verifying with all his many allies whether they look. That suggests in some way he instantly can verify the veracity of verbal communications. And they go on to say, and assuming he doesn't spot a lie he's told, he'll feel safe enough to essentially appear, which is what we saw at the last chapter. And essentially what a lot of people speculated is the fact maybe how they couldn't detect a lie, how All for One couldn't detect a lie from Ayama's parents, is the fact that potentially it has something to do with Shinso. And yes, Shinso comes in, which we know from a few chapters ago he was always called in, and Shinso's here. He's got a new hero costume and everything that looks literally somewhat similar to Aizawa, and everything. It looks really cool, to be honest. And this is the first time we've seen Shinso again in hero costume mode in a long time and everything. So Shinso's back. Obviously, if you remember the meeting Horikoshi had, he did say Shinso has a pretty big part to play in the final climax of this story. Now, I don't know if he's going to contribute anything more. I'm guessing he will, because he's probably going to help the heroes fighting the villains in the final fight for Japan. And everything. But this, I would say, maybe is a big moment for him here and everything. Now, Sue goes on to say, one thing that shocked me when Aizawa explained the plan, because back during the team battles, she's saying like Shinso couldn't make other people speak, and Shinso essentially says, "Well, yeah, about that. In April I was supposed to join the hero course, but obviously because the world came to other crap, he couldn't join the hero course and everything." And essentially, Shinzo says that he's been training to improve his quirk, and now he goes on to say, essentially, he can be able to make Ayama and his folks now talk so that his motives and their emotions won't come into play. So essentially, now when he does his quirk, he can essentially control the people to talk, and they won't give off any emotion or anything and stuff like that because it's truly coming from him and everything. So, yeah, obviously that makes all the class 1A like overly happy and excited and stuff like that, and like, oh yes, you need to join our freaking class and everything. So yeah, and everything. So yeah, Sugauchi goes on, or not Sugauchi, Principal Nezu did say, well, Aizawa did train him pretty dang well and stuff like that. So yeah, and then we also see everything that's also happened and stuff like that. And we get the whole setup. We get a nice setup of the scene where Monoma is confronting Kurogiri, and this is Aizawa's whole thing, like copy Kurogiri's quirk and everything, so then you can be able to help us with this plan. And the one thing I definitely liked Monoma said, and his whole phrase here is the fact that he's like, you know, I'm always called as a freaking side character and stuff like that, and people always told me never with my quirk I'd be able to be a superhero and help people, stuff like that. That's been the thing we've seen. We saw it just he even say this recently in the overly criticized season 5 of My Hero Academia. And he goes on to say, you see, I'm a supporting cast member. You know, this seems like the role meant for a main hero or something like that. And everything. And essentially, his teacher goes on to say, I forgot his teacher's name. I forgot too many dang characters. His teacher essentially says, Monoma, you know, the operation will fail unless everyone plays their part. So there's no such thing as being essentially a big time player, a main role. He said, you've been and always will be a star. I definitely did like that of his teacher to say that, because that goes to show you he loves his students as well. And he's like, listen, everybody has a part to play. You know, that means we're all integral to this, where it's just not this one main guy. Yeah, Deku might be the main guy to save us all, but we all play our parts because we're all heroes and we're all pretty important and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, all the heroes are coming through. Obviously the portal that Monoma made and everything and stuff like that. And what I found it hilarious is he totally does the Monoma thing, and he just starts laughing uncontrollably. He's like, ha 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 ha. Well, it's time to get your asses kicked, villains, and stuff like that. You know, stupid Monoma and stuff like that. You know, he can't stop being this guy, man. It's hilarious, bro. Anyways, we cut over to All for One, I guess at these headquarters, and he's like, well, it seems like you know, the fight's starting. And he goes to make the mention, if All for One steals One for All, well then we're done. It's over. He has no reason to hide anymore for good. And stuff like that. He won't have to run, he won't have to hide. Essentially, it's game over if he gets that and stuff like that. And essentially, this is all or nothing. They got to bring him down right here, right now, and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyways, we see Shigaraki essentially just look down at the ground, and he's looking at the puddle and everything. He's asking Dabi to help him, and essentially Dabi's like, oh, please. I'm like, too bad, Shigaraki. I'm not helping you now. I'm going to see and kill my father once and for all and stuff like that. You know, I'm going to burn you in hell, man, as well as your comrades and stuff like that. Well, he actually says, watch your pals get cremated, which is kind of dark, and it looks like he's about to use this big fire attack, but all of a sudden, it's counteracted with an ice blast and everything. Dabi obviously starts laughing up a storm, and obviously Todoroki comes through the portal, so we see other Class 1A members are coming through the portal as well. And Todoroki goes and says, sorry, but I'm not letting anybody else get like killed. Not on my watch. Dobby and everything are big brother. And obviously, Dobby gets the most craziest Shoto, his crazy look. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy is crazy. He needs help. Yeah, you think you can save your brother Dobby? There's no way you're gonna save your brother Dobby. And stuff like that. Anyways, All for One's just flying there. He's like, these people are like cockroaches. God. Oh, brother. Anyways, All Might screams out, all right, time to operate Operation Troy Tempt and Trap Attack. Essentially what happens is we see all the villains end up getting trapped in these like different pod areas, these cages and stuff like that. And I'm like, how are they gonna hold these cages back and everything? And stuff like that. So essentially what happened is these cages are going to help I guess split the villains up to where we're going to probably get set up to the individual final battles for some of the characters we're going to see and stuff like that. And yeah, and essentially the chapter just ends off with all the heroes, and you just have a obviously nice side by side panel of All Might and All for One is saying, all of this to split our all for one saying, all of this to split us up and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where the chapter ends. There is no break for next week, so there is going to be a manga chapter next week, no break. So yeah, so I'm guessing next chapter we're going to see these cages that they're in be split up, move to these different designated locations. We're going to get set up to our final battles, and we'll see how this story is going to end, which I'm not going to be overly happy about. But anyways, I'm going to get up here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode chapter for My Hero Academia. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What's your thoughts on Shinso coming back and making an integral part of this? And where does you think the story's going to go here from now? As well as hit that subscribe button if you want to get more My Hero Academia content, as well as any other anime content on the channel I upload here. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night when watching this video. Until then, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Until then, guys, peace.